Hi guys, how are you? In this video, we're going to explain in its entirety what exactly Johnson is trying to achieve by preventing the full implementation of the border checks. Now, first of all, I'm going to say one thing. This has nothing to do with food. It has nothing to do with anything, okay, other than Johnson's survival. That's all this has got to do with. Not even the UK's survival, only Johnson's survival. So let's go. Okay, let's be very clear here. Johnson's gambit is basically an insidious, deliberate plot to break from the WA, but not break from the TCA. And it's a deliberate plot to force the EU's hand in this matter and put the Republic of Ireland and the European Union on a collision course. Now, the difficulty and the complicated thing about this is the Republic of Ireland is in the UK's corner, because the last thing the Republic of Ireland wants, based on expertise and 40, 50 years experience, is a border on the island of Ireland. Everybody who can live and breathe in Ireland knows where that's going to end up. And that violence will travel across the ocean. No question about it. Anybody who thinks otherwise is different. Now, the fly in the ointment, however, is, first of all, Dublin's influence in the EU and with the US, and Johnson's majority. That's the bit that skews the things. But like for 40 years, the DUP were extremely powerful brokers in Westminster. Many of the last Conservative governments would not have survived if it wasn't for the DUP support. And the DUP know that. The problem for the DUP is the majority that Johnson has. So let me explain that border issue exactly. If the UK exports product to Belfast and there are no checks, those goods can come down into the Republic of Ireland. So again, it just goes from the UK, goes into Northern Ireland and comes into the EU, okay? The EU member states cannot accept that, and Johnson knows it. So Johnson simply turns around to the EU and says, bugger off, not doing anything. What are the EU going to do? Now, there are several things they can do. They can pull out of the WA. They're still on those legal proceedings. They'll reactivate those legal proceedings. Okay? Already the panel of arbitrators for disputes, that's already formalized. Even though four of the international arbitrators that the UK has provided are above the age of 70. And there's one above the age of 70 on the EU side. So learn a lesson from that one, okay? But those panels are there. They can start that off immediately. Now, as everybody unanimously in the Bar Council in the UK said of the Internal Market Bill, that it's illegal, it's a disgrace. Johnson's is not trusted by the lawyers. So you can be fairly sure even the arbitrators from the UK are going to point the finger at Johnson and say, you can't do this. You can't pull out of the WA. So what Johnson is trying to do is get the EU to pull out of the WA. That's what he's trying to do. He can't do it. He knows if he does it, he's screwed. Now, the fly in the ointment is Jeffrey Donaldson. Now, what some of you may not be aware is that there was the previous election with Poots and Jeffrey Donaldson, you had warnings and investigations of paramilitary intimidation. So that paramilitary intimidation, that whole rhetoric serves Jeffrey Donaldson's political agenda, right? But the problem he has is that despite what's being seen in the public eye, the Republic of Ireland are in the UK's corner, okay? They're fighting for the UK because they don't want that border. Now, the EU cannot allow goods to travel from the UK into the Northern Ireland down into the Republic. They just can't allow that, or every other country in the world would be doing the same thing. I mean, what would you do? If you were a businessman in the UK or in the Republic of Ireland, what would you do? If I was in the UK and I could get goods into the biggest market, one of the biggest markets in the world, I think the biggest market in the world, I'm going to bring in goods that they don't have access to unless they have to pay tariffs. I'm going to ship them to Northern Ireland, down into the Republic, and slam it out across the EU. And then I have a price advantage and I make a lot of money. The problem with that is it's called smuggling, okay? Now, Dublin is now going to do exactly what Johnson has done. They're going to ignore Jeffrey Donaldson. They're just going to engage with London. Jeffrey Donaldson came down to Dublin and met with the Taoiseach, and then went back up and he made lots of noise. When Šefčovič came over to Northern Ireland, again he made lots of noise. So both Johnson knows and Dublin knows that we can't negotiate with this guy. So Dublin will get more involved with London. Of that there is no doubt. The issue, however, is, will the ERG dump Northern Ireland? I happen to think they will. I don't think the ERG give a toss about Northern Ireland. I don't think the ERG give a toss about Scotland, for that matter. In fact, if I was in the ERG, if I was Johnson right now, I would be offering independence to Scotland. I'd spin it a little bit, but I would be able to tell my party that if you get rid of Scotland, get them out of the equation, we have a 50-seat extra majority, an extra majority of 50 seats. That puts them up around 130. That makes them unbeatable for 2 or 3 elections. There's no way you're going to beat that in those numbers. It's impossible. So though things seem very complicated, it's not really that complicated. Not at all. Dump Scotland, 50-seat majority. Simple math to me. Ignore Donaldson, Jeffrey Donaldson, is going to be the key. The question is, what will Donaldson do? Thanks for listening. See you on the flip side. Take care.